Okay, guys, I'll give you a few moments to make your selection. Pile 1, you have reinforcement. Pile 2, you have unconscious. And pile 3, you have trauma. If you are drawn to more than one pile, go ahead and select more than one, and I will see you there. Hey, pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you did not watch the intro, my name is Empress Goddess of Healing, and I am so happy the universe allowed us to cross paths today. Those that are new, welcome to the channel. Those returning and those who will join my Divine Being gang, thank you so much for all of the love and support. Y'all blowing me away with all the people who watch my dreams reading. I'm coming out with another dreams reading because y'all really do like that. So thank you so much. Thank you for the new subscribers. Just thank you for loving on me while I've been gone, because I've been gone for a minute and I apologize. But while I've been gone, y'all been studying. I got us a whole bunch of new decks. I done changed up the setup. So I hope y'all understand that I was away for a little bit. I just needed to, recharge. But she back, so let's go ahead and get into it. Pile 1. So this reading is going to be, what is your inner child triggering in you at this very moment? And you guys chose reinforcement. So before I read the back of these cards, and the underlining energy of reinforcement was attachment. So what I'm getting off rip is that your throat chakra and your sacral chakra is being illuminated at this present moment by your inner child. You could be in a very emotional state right now. I know that your inner child really wants you to pay attention to how you are expressing yourself at this very moment. Also, how you're speaking to yourself and how you're communicating to other people, along with how you're allowing other people to communicate with you. With you, pile 1, I believe that communication is not only a big factor in your life right now, but it has been a big factor all of your life. And what I mean by that is, I feel like words hurt when it comes to you. I feel that you are a person who likes clarity of mind. You don't like people not really telling you the truth, or you want to know where you stand, where you fit, what is going on. You don't like confusing situations, or, just where you just have confusion of mind. You want to have a clear-cut understanding of what is happening around you. So maybe you didn't always feel like you fit in. Maybe you didn't always know how others viewed you, is what I heard. Okay? And that could have caused some type of emotional wound in you. With attachment, I do feel that you can easily get attached to things emotionally, pile 1, and your inner child wants to bring that to the forefront as well. Are you getting attached to things emotionally in a positive way or a negative way? Is it leading to a dependency on something or someone, or is it leading to empowerment? With reinforcement, reinforcement is all about you do something and then your action reinforces, whether it's a positive reaction or a negative reaction. And these cards have definitions on the back, and I'll read that in a minute. But what I'm getting right now is that however you're moving in life right now is either reinforcing you in a positive way or a negative way. And this is what your inner child wants you to identify at this time. So let's go ahead and read the back of the card, okay? Reinforcement says, responses to behaviors that cause the behaviors to be repeated, modified, or ceased. Something is definitely blocking the throat chakra or illuminating that throat chakra, because I've had to almost like belch silently like 3 times as soon as I turned this card over to read pile 1. So do not stifle your voice. Speak up for yourself and the things that you want, even if it's speaking up to your own self. All right. If your mind is trying to give you some inner talk that's not uplifting you at this very moment. So when it says causes the behavior to be repeated, modified, or ceased, depending on whether it was negative or positive, there's some type of pattern, some type of habit that you have adopted since childhood that your inner child is bringing to the forefront. And it's something that you do. It's almost like an instant trigger is what I heard. It's an instant trigger for you, and it's triggered by an emotion. Look at that there. It's triggered by an emotion. Think about when you were younger, and say you were a person who really loved to learn. Maybe you really like to read books and things like that, right? So you like to read. And then every time you finished a book, maybe your parents would take you somewhere and you got to go and get a new book. So you hurry up and you wanted to read that book because you knew when you read that book, you were going to go get another one. Or say you lost a tooth and your parents believed in the tooth fairy. You knew that by losing a tooth, you would get $1 under the the pillow. Now, I'm not saying you went and gonna try to knock your teeth out. Trying to get some money from the tooth fairy, but at least that turned what could have been a almost negative experience, if you will, or not so fun experience, depending on how the tooth fell out, or what the whole issue was with it in the first place, right? You lost something, but then you gained something. Look at that there. You lost something, but then you gained something. So what I'm getting is you lost something, but you gained something. What are you trying to tell me, Spirit? You have an attachment to loss is what I heard, pile 1. You have an attachment to loss. Emotional loss really, I heard, triggers you. Really, I see something like stirring in my third eye, stirs you on the inside. So that may force you to become emotionally attached to things in a fear type of sense. And we will see. All right. Now, say you didn't get attention at all, right? But the only time you got attention is when you did something wrong. So you purposely would do things wrong because that's the only time you could get attention. So it could go either way. So just really see what's being triggered in you while you watch this reading, pile 1, and really listen to your inner child, because reinforcement is very big for you. Very big. All right. Now it says, generally by reward, positive reinforcement, the individual seeks to reelicit the positive responses, or indifference or punishment, negative reinforcement, the individual seeks to be noticed or to avoid punishment. You also could have grew up in a home where, what if there was a lot of trauma, turmoil, so you would shrink away, you go, in another room. Maybe there was a lot of fighting and things like that. So maybe now, anytime somebody has any conflict, you may run, that because that was reinforced. So it's something with the conditioning of your responses to behavior, just like you said. Look at it there. Okay, so it says characterized by identical responses to identical stimuli, sort of what I just said, behavior designed expressively to draw a certain response, dysfunctional patterns of craziness, especially in families. What did I just say? Okay, yeah. In families or couples where reinforcement of undesirable conduct is taking place but not acknowledged. And if you see on this card, it says, I get such reinforcement by my exhibitionism. What I got when I looked at that, now this looks like this is like a half naked witch on a broom. So it looks like she's up to some mischief, some, destructive, chaotic behavior. If that is the only way you were getting attention as a child, or in situations or relationships, because that would mean if that was the only attention you got as a child doing that, then you are a person that may be prone to drama. Not that you may cause drama, but you may be prone to situations where there's some type of conflict, some type of drama, something that's not smooth sailing. But what I'm getting from this is, don't try to get reinforcement or outside validation. What's the word I'm looking for? From like doing things just to be seen. Just like I said, like, you didn't get any attention, so you want to do or you had to do like negative things in order to get attention. It's really hard to grasp this with this reinforcement. I'm getting that pile 1, you guys may have had a lot more negative reinforcement than positive reinforcement. Maybe it's some very overcritical parents, or And even if it wasn't your parents, you could have maybe had a teacher, or maybe you were bullied by friends, but there's somewhere in your childhood where I'm getting negative reinforcements outweighed positive reinforcements, and it caused some form of attachment. Okay, so you put that where that resonates. Now, with the attachment, I get, before I even read this card, there's definitely an attachment to your parents, whether they were together or not. That somehow shaped you emotionally, whether they were over emotional or lackluster when it comes to emotions. If they were overly emotional, then you may be a person who just really opens themselves freely. Maybe you're a person who wears their heart on their sleeve. Maybe you are a person who, doesn't fear love, doesn't fear relationships with anybody, whether it was friend, family, because you were in that dynamic where everybody's emotions were free. Everybody was able to have their emotions validated, whether positive or negative. Goes back to that reinforcement, right? But then I get there's some of you also who may have grew up in family dynamics where they weren't so emotional, where emotions could have been viewed as weakness, where emotions just were like, just what I said, like, must we today with this emotion? You feel me? So that kind of gave a negative reinforcement, but either way, it caused a form of attachment. So your inner child just really wants you to pay attention to when your emotions are triggered, and is that from a repeated pattern, going back to this reinforcement, and has you attached. Okay, I'm getting that your inner child really does not want you to be attached to anything personally, for you to really stand in your own power, that you're not dependent on anything, and that you don't hide away your emotions, especially if they weren't validated when you were younger. They really want you to get into your emotional body and just really see the things that you are attached to. Outside of your emotions, what things are you attached to right now as an adult that could be stemming from childhood? Let's go ahead and read the card. Let's see what it says. It says, a connection or emotional tie between individuals. What did I just say? Did I not just say that they don't want you to have an attachment? Okay. It says, a connection or emotional tie between individuals characterized by dependence, attraction, or emotional satisfaction. The initial bond between an infant and its primary caregivers, the quality of which greatly influences the ability to bond in life later. Did I not just talk about that with the family? Look at it, dear. You better come up through spirit. Characterized by secure type. Seeks and feels comfortable with social interactions and intimacy. Avoidant, insecure type. Avoids interactions and intimacy. Obliviant and resistant types. Both seeks and rejects intimacy and social interactions. Pause for the cause. Did y'all not hear me go, with the emotions? So boom, there it is. This is where the reinforcement is coming in. Okay, so pile one, your inner child wants you to figure out what type are you as far as attachment. I'm going to read it again. The definition says a connection or emotional tie between individuals characterized by dependence, attraction, and or emotional satisfaction. Then it said there were three types. There's the secure type. Seeks and feels comfortable with social interactions and intimacy. So are you the secure type? Second type, avoidant and insecure type, avoids interactions and intimacy. That means that there was a lot of negative reinforcement. Third type, obliviant and resistant type. Both seeks and rejects intimacy and social interaction. And what I'm getting with that third type, the obliviant, resistant, I feel that there was a lot of emotional instability in your childhood. So Sometimes you may want to have intimacy, but then sometimes you push back and you do not want to have intimacy. And that is all from a fear of being vulnerable. I believe that whenever you may have been seeking that intimacy or that bond or that attachment to whoever in your life as a child, it wasn't always met with positivity. And so you kind of put a shield around you. You know what I just saw? I saw a little kid, but I saw a little kid with a turtle backpack on in my third eye. So it's like you put a protective shell over yourself. So when things were not going the way you wanted, I saw it, you just shrunk down like a turtle would go and then hide in their shell. And they did it real fast. The head, the arms, the feet, everything went in at the same time. So this oblivion and resistant type is standing out the most to me. If you are identifying with the oblivion and resistant type or the avoidant and insecure type, your inner child is trying to get you to get to this secure type. If you are in the secure type right now where you do seek and feel comfortable with social interactions, then your inner child just wants you to continue to reinforce that. And whenever you are in situations where you feel that you may be jumping into that avoidant or that oblivion type, then your inner child is going to ring an alarm inside like, hey, something is triggering your emotions. Where are we? What kind of talk are we, saying to ourselves? What kind of responses are we getting from people and outside stimuli when we do X, Y, Z, right? When you're avoidant, what kind of reinforcement is that giving you? When you're oblivion and resistant, what is that giving you? And when you're secure, what is that giving you? And if you don't know which one you are, then do all three. Try all three. Try to be open to someone and then see how that makes you feel. When you automatically want to be avoiding, you automatically feel like you can't be comfortable. Why is that? Is that something that is actually triggering that, meaning outside, or is that something within you that's being triggered? And it's really not nothing outside of you. It's just an old programming or conditioning. Now this says, next to your lifeline, I see evidence of insecure attachment. Look at it there. Y'all know I didn't read this card. Look at that there. Insecure attachment. Boom. And there it is. So your inner child basically is asking you, where do you have insecure attachments and where was that reinforced when you were a child? You better come on through, spirit. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the reading. Now we know what the inner child is saying. So we're going to use my feelings deck. All right, let's just see what feeling is this bringing out in you when your inner child is triggering this reinforcement and this attachment, okay? And we're going to keep trucking through the decks. I'm going to only pull one card. Now, y'all, I wanted this to be 15 minutes. And we already at 18. I swear I cannot make a short reading to save my doggone life. Like, good God. Anywho, it is what it is over here. Is that your card? Okay. There go your card. All right. Let me see, is it two? Look, before I turn this over, I heard joy and I saw joy in my third eye. And you guys have joy. Look at it there. It says, give it space. Take a moment to hold space for joy. As you see, if you can create space for joy and hold it, pay attention to any emotional blocks. What did I just say? Okay. That might come up as you do so, like feelings of shame and jealousy. Where was that reinforced in your life? What is that causing you to be attached to? Look at it there. Can meet these feelings with curiosity instead of judgment. Can you, I think it's missing a word, can you meet these feelings with curiosity instead of judgment? What are they trying to protect you from? Look at that there. Sometimes our heart employs protective emotions. Did I not just say, y'all? I saw the backpack with the turtle and I said a protective shell. You better come on through, spirit. Okay. Sometimes, y'all, I hope I ain't on this mic. Oh, I'm going to be pissed. Hold on. Okay. Sometimes our heart employs protective emotions that might block us from truly embracing joy. Shame might whisper in our ear that we don't deserve joy. Jealousy might creep in and say that we don't need what others have to reach joy. You have the agency to take any information from these emotions that's helpful and let go of the rest. Remember, feelings are data, not facts. Look at that there. Feelings are data, not facts. It says sometimes our heart employs protective emotions that might block us from truly embracing joy. So, these reinforcements and attachments, somewhere your inner child is saying that there's an attachment and a negative reinforcement that is blocking some joy in your life. Okay? Now, when it says, are you meeting these feelings with curiosity or judgment? When you chose this reading and chose your pile, were you happy? Oh, I can't wait to see what my inner child want to say to me. Or were you nervous? Like, oh, snap. What does my inner child want to say? Okay. Was that curiosity or was that judgment? So your inner child wants to be joyful all the time. They want you to be joyful. They want you to be happy. And if you are experiencing anything of shame, of anger, anything of that nature, anything that's not giving you uplifting vibes, figure out where that was reinforced. So what's at the bottom of the deck? We have anger. Look at that there. Express yourself. What did I say? Express yourself. When anger shows up, how do you express it? Was I not talking about that? I think I did. I don't know. I started again. You know, some of you guys may have grew up in homes where you weren't allowed to express yourself. Maybe you tend to yell and really pursue the issue. Maybe you shut down or distance yourself from it. Maybe you do something in between. I don't know if it was this take or not. I had said that I saw in my third eye that some people don't like conflict and they would shy away, maybe go in another room, hide in a closet, go somewhere. They could be prone to situations that bring drama unnecessary because they were surrounded by conflict, not really knowing that kind of reinforced that. Look at it there. That reinforced that attachment. Look at that there. Okay? Now that you've thought about your response to anger, do you have any thoughts on where you initially learned it? Look at that there. Y'all see how synchronistic this is? Does it align with your values? What was its impact on your relationships? The next time something triggers anger for you, see if you can pause and just notice what your first response is. When we start to create space between a trigger and our responses, we get a chance to reclaim agency in how we choose to respond. And did I not? I think I started off the reading saying that this is what your inner child wants you to pay attention to, how you are responding to outside stimuli, how you are responding to stimuli from yourself, your thoughts, all of that. Where is that stemming from? What attachments have you developed? And you need to determine if it's positive or negative. The next time something triggers anger in you, see if you can pause and just notice what your first response is. And you are also whenever joy. So look at that there. Look how night and day those are. So when something triggers happiness in you, pile one, do you say, it's not going to last long? Or, you just wait for the other shoe to drop? Or are you basking in that? Are you enjoying that? You can't wait to the next joyful moment. When you are angry, do you just get angry for that moment and then you let it go? Or do you fester? Do you then take it out on other people? What are your coping mechanisms when you are angry? This is what your inner child wants you to work on. This is what your inner child is triggering in you, in your emotional body. So let's see what they're asking. Why are they triggering this reinforcement and attachment? Why are they invoking the feelings between joy and anger and wanting you to really differentiate the two and realize if are you resting more in situations that are causing anger, stress, or joy? And I get that your inner child wants the joy. So this is my ask yourself deck. And we're going to see what your inner child is asking you when it comes to this reinforcement, attachment, and joy and anger. Clear the energy of this deck, and we're just going to get 3 cards. All right, inner child, give me 3 cards. Your inner child be ready. Is that 3? Did you see that? Look at it here. Okay, first one out. 7 of Pentacles. What situation in your life are you ready to invest your time, energy, and money to? Did you hear that? Again, 7 of Pentacles. What situation in your life are you ready to invest your time, energy, and money to? I'm also getting what situation in your life right now are you trying to invest joy in? What situation in your life right now could you be investing anger in? Are you willing to invest time to really sit down with your inner child to figure out what you're attached to? Next out, we have the Hangman. What situation in your life do you need to look at from a different perspective? Both of these cards are cards of patience. Both of these cards are cards of standing still, of really taking time to really cultivate something, really taking time to look and see what it is that is going on around me. So if you are responding to a lot of things in a negative or angry or low patience, things could easily, frustrate you at this very moment, then your inner child is asking you to look at it in another way. If you are a person who just sees everything as rosy and bright, your inner child wants you to make sure that you're not deluding yourself, okay? And that, that if everything is going good right now, that's fantastic. That means you had great reinforcement, right? But are you able to handle things if something were to happen to cause the anger? You want to have a happy balance, because if you're just in one, you won't know how to handle that other. And then we have the 4 of Wands, and it says, what situation in your life is bringing you the stability you seek? So I really feel that your inner child, with the 7 of Pentacles, the Hangman, and the 4 of Wands, your inner child really wants you to make sure that whoever is around you, whatever you are engaging in right now, pile 1, it's reinforcing positivity. All right? When you think of your structure, when you think of your stability from a child going all the way up until adulthood, does it give you joyful feelings or does it spark anger? And if so, your inner child wants you to reflect on that. And can you look at it in a different way? Can you invest in new habits to change that? If it is invoking the anger, if it's invoking the joy, then continue to cultivate that, continue to nurture that, continue to reinforce that. Okay? I think your inner child wants you to put a lot more investment into yourself right now, pile 1. They really want you to spend time with yourself with this Hangman. And if you were ever a person who sacrificed a lot for other people with this reinforcement and this attachment, your inner child wants you to not do that. Okay? Your inner child wants you to celebrate you, pile 1. The 4 of Wands is about, being able to, going back to this Hangman, being able to look above a situation to see how something was built from the ground up, right? And all of that work and all of that investment. So this, given the 4 of Wands, this is something that started in childhood, pile 1. It started in childhood, and it really set the foundation for how you are as an adult. Do you take time out for yourself with this hangman? Can you sit still? Can you see things in another perspective? Or do you only see things one way? Do you feel you're worthy enough to invest in yourself? Have you been investing your energy into too many things that reinforce negative emotions versus positive emotions? Do you feel that most of your childhood has reinforced solidity, meaning, or I should say solidarity or togetherness? This is what your inner child is invoking in you. And this is something that's gone on for a very long time with the Pentacles, okay? So this is something that is going to take some time. This is something that you do not want to rush. The Hangman is also a card of stillness, a card of things not really moving forward, just really taking the time to learn yourself and really get stable within yourself. Be able to stand on your own 2 feet before you partner with someone else or something else, going back to that attachment. So that if that attachment left, I talked about something about loss, right? You could still feel whole. Something about you not feeling whole in an area, pile 1. Okay? So again, I'm going to read the questions again. Is what your inner child is asking you. What situation in your life are you ready to invest your time, energy, and money into? The Hangman. What situation in your life do you need to look at from a different perspective? And they are either invoking joy or anger, reinforcement and attachment. And then the 4 of Wands. What situation in your life is bringing you the stability you seek? Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. We have the 3 of Swords. Look at that there. What painful aspect of your life do you need to confront? And there it is. This is what you need to invest in right here. So that your foundation in yourself, in your emotional body, in the way that you communicate, in the way that you view the world, view relationships, all of that, right, is stemming from a painful situation. And it either reinforces something positive or negative in you. Because not all painful situations, can taint us. Sometimes that's a lesson that we needed to learn. Like you falling off the bike and you scraping your knee. You like, okay, thank you for that negative, situation. I'll make sure I got some doggone knee pads on next time I get on that doggone bike, or I'm going to pay attention to where I'm going. So it doesn't always have to be something negative. Okay? All right? But your heart, look how that's synchronistic with the emotions, okay? Your heart is in need of a healing right now, pile 1. To get you more stable in your emotional body and the way you express yourself, bringing more joy in. Invest in more joy, not situations that cause stress, okay? So let's go ahead and get some advice from Spirit. And I'm going to go ahead and get y'all out of here. Now, this is a new deck, and this is an Iyanla Vanzant deck, y'all. I don't think y'all can get this. Shout out to my girl Brooklyn. She gave it to me, y'all. Yeah, your inner child is ready. I'm so excited to use these decks. Anywho, let's see what advice your inner child and Spirit has for you, pile 1. It says, where are you going? Oh, where? Before I read this card, look at that card. What is on that person's back? Did I not say something about that back in that turtle? Okay, so listen. It's something weighing heavy on you. Energetically, it's a load you carrying on your back. And Spirit in your inner child is saying, we need to put that down. We need to put that down. Okay, because it's reinforcing negative things and not positive. It's an attachment you got to let go of. It says, when are you going to stop doing the things that bring you pain? I can't make that up. The 3 of Swords. Anger. Pause for the cause. Are you willing to live pain-free today? Joy. Do y'all see how synchronistic that is? Are you ready to invest in that? Invest in living pain-free today. Do you need to sit still for a minute? Do you need to figure out first, well, what is it that's bringing me pain? Do you need to introduce yourself to your inner child? Have you never talked to your inner child? There is no need to endure pain. Simply do what feels naturally right and good for you. That is going to bring in that joy. That is going to bring in those positive reinforcements. That is going to make sure that whatever attachments you have are attachments to good things and not things that make you feel not whole unless you have some type of attachment to it. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. And we have, where in your life are you holding on to what isn't working? Attachment. Look at that there. And it says, are you willing to let go today? In order to give the best of yourself, you must surrender. Hangman. The worst about yourself. Did you hear that? In order to give the best of yourself, you must surrender the worst of yourself. That is what they are bringing to your attention, your inner child and spirit. That is the burden. Somewhere it has been reinforced that you weren't good enough, that you couldn't do this, or that you only have to settle for that, and that is a lie. All right? That is a lie. That is pain you're still holding on to on your back. It is weighing you down in spirit, and your inner child wants you to release that. So pile 1, that is your reading. I hope it has been insightful for you to know what your inner child is triggering in you at this moment. I hope it gave you the clarity that you seek. If you enjoyed kicking it with your girl, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. If it resonated, if you would just like to drop me a comment, just say, hey girl, hey, go ahead and jump down in the comments. I love when you guys comment. I said in another video, this is like my support group. I just want us all to be able to communicate, share stories and things like that. Don't feel obligated, but I will respond to everyone, and I just truly enjoy you guys' feedback, okay? If you're drawn to another pile, go ahead over there and I'll see you there. And if not, pile 1, just thank you so much for being here with me. I have truly enjoyed not only channeling your inner child, but just kicking it with you and spirit. And I'm wishing you nothing but peace, love, and light. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. If you did not watch the intro, my name is Empress Goddess of Healing, and I am so happy the universe allowed us to cross paths today. Those that are new, welcome to the channel. Those returning and those who have joined my Divine Being gang, thank you so much for all of your love and support, your patience while I have been away. I truly appreciate all of the views, the likes, the comments. Y'all blowing me away with all the views on the dream reading. I will make sure that I come out with more dream readings, and I have missed y'all. So thank you so much for your patience. So this reading, pile 2, is what is your inner child triggering in you at this moment? Now, we got a little like yellowish green over here and purple. So definitely crown chakra is being activated. Your thinking, your mind, for sure, is what they are triggering, or your inner child is triggering at this time. And I'm getting your heart. Now, because this is like, not to gross nobody out, but because this is like a yellowish, greenish kind of color, almost matches my bracelet, like a limeish kind of color, I'm getting like ew, you know, so pukey type of feeling. So I'm getting there are some unconscious triggers in your mind that kind of affects your heart chakra. And I'm getting those triggers can either activate your heart chakra or cause blockages in your heart chakra. Really, really experiencing love, showcasing love, displaying love, just how you view love, maybe just something in regards to just love. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what they say. Now with unconscious, it says, the definition is the part of the mind that is only rarely subject to awareness, containing repressed instincts, memories, wishes, ideas, and images too anxiety inducing to be introduced into the conscious. So your inner child right now is definitely triggering your subconscious mind, or we should say your unconscious mind. So you may be just getting triggered out the blue. You just may be feeling good, then 1 minute you see something on TV, somebody say something, you could smell something, just your unconscious mind is just being triggered left and right, because there are things that you have suppressed, things that you have buried in your mind, events that you have dealt with as a child that you do not want to, I'm hearing, deal with now. Pile 2. So it's blocking your transformation, I'm hearing, into adulthood. Also pile 2, and I don't care if you're 62. That's what I heard. It's blocking your transformation into adulthood. So certain things can trigger your responses back to childhood in a way. So this is what I saw in my third eye, right? Have you ever seen a grown person suck their thumb? And if you suck your thumb, I'm not talking about you because you suck your thumb. This is just what I saw in my third eye. So sometimes people who are adults will suck their thumb because they're comfortable. They're comfortable where they are, so they suck their thumb. Or maybe they feel a little anxiety, and so that thumb gives them comfort. Or do you have like a favorite blanket that you take with you everywhere, even when you travel? You know, is this a blanket that you've had since you were younger? Just things that you may have a sentimental attachment to is also being triggered within you. I'm getting your inner child is triggering a lot in your mind, because it says awareness containing repressed instincts, memories, wishes, ideas, and images too anxiety inducing to introduce to the conscious. So it's not just anything that could be potentially negative. It's your dreams, it's your hopes, it's what you wanted to be when you were a child before you knew about the world. You know, responsibility. It's just, what have you suppressed in your mind that is being brought up right now? You know, have you ever walked somewhere and smelled something and it reminds you of your childhood? Or you saw a kid eating an ice cream cone and you remember what ice cream cone you used to like to get when you were a child. I think that your inner child just really wants you to really explore the different avenues of your memories, of your mind, of what's coming up, and what are you feeling when that comes up? How are you viewing those images, those feelings, those thoughts, those memories? Which ones are giving you anxiety? Which ones are bringing you happiness? It says it's characterized by Freudian slips, meaningful dreams, disassociated acts, seemingly inexplicable thoughts and conclusions, psychotherapeutic revelations. This is what pointed out to me. The Freudian slips, meaningful dreams, disassociated acts, and the psychotherapeutic revelations. I believe all of those your inner child is sparking in you right now. I would really pay attention to your dreams, and I would pay attention to whenever you feel you want to disassociate. And whenever you want to disassociate, something is being triggered in your unconscious mind and you want to figure out why. Whatever you are dreaming, try to jot that down at this time. Your inner child is triggering certain things in your dream space, and it may come more in your dream space than your awakened space if you are a person who really can't handle that, meaning it's going to bring too much anxiety. Because remember, we have repressed these things, or these things are in our subconscious mind or unconscious mind because, you know, they just rarely get that awareness. All right. And if your inner child wants you, I'm getting your inner child wants you to remember who you were as a child, is what I'm hearing. Who you were as a child, when you were fun loving, when you were a jokester, when you were happy, when you were carefree, when you didn't have responsibilities, when you were full of life, is what I heard. Full of life. When you were full of life. And everything looked beautiful to you. I just saw this picture on my wall, says beautiful life, when everything was beautiful to you. Okay. Down here it says, my unconscious says yes, but my ladylike upbringing says no. Look at that there. My unconscious says yes, but my ladylike upbringing says no. So right now, I feel your inner child is bringing to your attention that there is a little bit of a tussle within you of what you truly want to do, who you truly want to be proud to, what you really want to express or say or do versus what others may expect of you. Maybe you've always had high expectations on you as a child, even in adulthood, and it's time to kind of break free from that. Be the unicorn you've always wanted to be. Now, I was just drawn to a book over here in my library, and it says A Lifetime of Secrets. Now, that ties in with this unconscious. Okay, so what parts of yourself are you keeping secret, not only from yourself, but the world, whether positive or negative, and why? Why are you keeping that? A lifetime of secrets. What have you been holding on to since childhood? Next out, we have dichotomous thinking. Dichotomous thinking, and it says, the practice of viewing situations, people, emotions, or thoughts in black and white terms as all or nothing, good or bad, characterizing in extremes with no gray or middle ground. So the other thing that is being triggered by your inner child going along with this unconscious is that you may have a tendency, Pile 2, to see things in black and white, all or nothing. It may be hard for you to compromise on your views, on your values, on your opinions. It may be hard for you to see another person's perspective, see a situation in another viewpoint. And that comes from something that's buried deep in your unconscious mind that your inner child wants to bring up to you. Is that hindering your relationships, Pile 2? Is that hindering the things that you go after? So I'll give you an example. Somebody's trying to block my throat chakra. This is the second time in another pile where when I turned the card over, my throat got clogged. Now, I didn't get clogged over here. So this dichotomous thinking is major, okay? Because something's trying to block my throat chakra. Now, you can take it in a whole bunch of ways. You could be like, I'm not going to... Let me think of an example. I need to give like an extreme example. You could be like, I'm not going to this restaurant, right? Unless they serve me steak with potatoes and green beans. If on their menu they have steak, scalloped potatoes, and broccoli, and not steak or baked potato and green beans, we can't go there. Like it's no substitution. Something to that extreme. Or think of people who are really into shoes, right? It's all or nothing. Either I'm wearing fresh kicks or I ain't wearing them. If it's a scuff on them, they being thrown away. If my socks ain't crispy white, they being thrown away. Things like that. If I come to the bathroom and that toilet paper don't have a triangle in it, I ain't using it. Cannot with these analogies, okay? Things like that, all right? So it's to a certain extreme, I only eat red Skittles, like it's like that. So, and I'm trying to make it fun because, it could be other things too that to make it on a low vibing. And I'm not trying to make it on a low vibing, but, and I'm going to say for myself, y'all, I kind of do look at things in black and white. And I try to change my perspective of certain things because I am a kind of all or nothing type person. And, I can compromise, but I can be a person who could kind of be stuck in their ways. So maybe that's what your inner child is kind of triggering in you too, Pile 2, is that you just to not see things in black and white. So say somebody was to, say you went up for a dream of yours. something you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to act in a play, or maybe you wanted to audition for something. Say you went up for an audition for something, right? And the cast director seemed like they were very, very tough on you, right? And you felt you gave it your all. And then the person who went before you and after you didn't feel they did as good as you, but it was like the casting director really didn't give them all that static like they gave you, and you like, what the F, right? So you could be feeling like they just picking on you. Maybe they're a different race. Maybe you think they racist, and whatever in your mind that's being triggered with this unconscious, right? And this dichotomous thinking, right? And so, you already have it set in your mind, this person just doesn't like you. It's all or nothing. They just don't like you, when they could have seen that you are a star, pile two, that you're brilliant, pile two, that they felt you were phenomenal, right? But they wanted to give you that tough love because they could see you going far in this arena. And they knew that you were going to come up against other people who may not treat you right. And so that you could build sort of like a tough skin. So everything that comes, whether it's positive or negative, right, may not always be, well, how should I say it? Everything that's positive may not always be good for you, right? And everything that's negative may not always be bad for you, because again, that's looking at it in a black and white type of sense. And I think this is what your inner child is trying to get you to understand, is to kind of see things in a gray area, kind of loosen up the reins a little bit on your thought process, on how you view things, situations, people. Like I said, you could be a person who you like, I'm not even going to, if I can't finish it, I'm not even going to start it, right? I ain't even going to start if I can't finish it. When you could just take baby steps instead of waiting until you feel it's the perfect moment. Just take those baby steps. That's the gray area. And then you might look up one day and it's completed. All right. So I feel that sometimes you may not even go after things if you feel that you can't accomplish them the way that you want, or you feel that you don't have enough skill or resources or whatever the case may be. So there is some blockages going on. Remember, I was like that the throw up. There's some blockages going on with this unconscious mind that your inner child is triggering in you. So let's finish reading. It says, characterized by extreme activity swings, true believer syndrome, binge dieting, inability to compromise or forgive, shame, self-loathing, short-term relationships, cluelessness, NRA membership. Huh? Yeah, listen, I didn't tell y'all just got all these new decks, right? And I ain't read this. What? Isn't that the National Rifle Association? We can't have no guns? Yeah, I don't know about that one, okay? Dinner party unpopularity. So what stood out to me in the characterizations was extreme activity swings, binge dieting, and not just binge dieting. I'm getting like binging. Like, again, like all or nothing. Okay, so I can give you an example of me, right? With the binge stuff, right? Y'all, I cannot go into no bookstore and just get one book. Literally, when I shop for anything, I can't just like get one thing. I think I'm like a binge shopper for real. Like, I really do. That's why I have a set budget in mind. Okay, this is what I'm gonna go spend, because I can't see in my mind just going to the store and just buying like one shirt. Like, huh? Like, what am I wearing with the shirt? What shoes am I putting on? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm a binge type of person when it comes to that. Or if I find a good program, I can't just watch that one episode. I'm gonna binge watch it until I fall asleep, and then I'm gonna binge watch until it's over. So that's that all or nothing energy. The inability to compromise or forgive, and shame. Those stood out to me. Self-loathing. Now, another thing could be with this all or nothing that could be triggered by your inner child is maybe something disappoints you in life. Maybe you do something and it disappoints someone else. And so you're really hard on yourself. You really beat yourself up. And so instead of saying, oh, that was just a mistake, or, I'll learn from that and try not to do that the next time, you really play this dialogue in your head of like, it's the worst. And you really just beat yourself up, that you just really beat yourself up for. And it may take you a while to even maybe come around that person if you hurt somebody's feelings, or maybe even apologize. Maybe you're the type of person who's just like, well, it is what it is. This is how I feel. If your feelings got hurt, then hey, you need to check in with your feelings. Like I wasn't freaking gay. Hold on. I don't know who I'm channeling here, but listen. Hey, however you are, it's not good or bad. That's what they're trying to say. Your inner child is not a good or bad or positive or negative. None of that. It is a life experience. It's you figuring out your way. That where do you fit in that gray area between those two? So if you hurt somebody's feelings, maybe you don't agree with why these feelings got hurt, but instead of being like, yo, you need to check in with your feelings and you figure that out, you can say, well, if I hurt your feelings, that was not my intention. If you don't want to apologize. And somebody got a problem apologizing because it was like almost like a fur ball trying to like go off my tongue and it got stuck. It was like something stopped that from those words from coming out my mouth. So maybe, it is a real all or nothing, or black and white type of thing. Maybe you are, the type of person who is like, I don't like the code, so I don't care how much money that this position or, this opportunity is trying to give me. If it ain't in a sunny area, if it ain't 96.9 and up, somebody is really all or nothing, okay? I ain't moving. That's that energy, okay? So if you are resonating with that energy, your inner child is warning you. They're saying you're missing out on so many beautiful opportunities and experiences in life. Being rigid. I only sleep on the right side of the bed. 2 pillows and a down comforter. I'm telling you that. If this is not your energy, you guys in the wrong pile, okay? Listen, I can laugh because I'm telling you, I be that energy, okay? I ain't ashamed to say it. I get with my inner child. I ain't got no problem with it. I ain't afraid to say it. Like, I am kind of like, listen, it is what it is. But anywho, let's keep going. Also, with the black and white, because they have short-term relationships, I don't necessarily feel like all of you guys just like short-term relationships. What I feel is you guys have very concrete views, opinions, standards of what you feel relationships, whether that's friends, family, lovers, whatever. That is very cut and dry. That is very all or nothing. And I feel that stems from your childhood and childhood hurt. All right. I was drawn to my book over here, Priceless. You are priceless. Your inner child is telling you are priceless. Oh my God, y'all, don't make me cry. Come on, y'all, don't make me cry. I think that all or nothing is a defense mechanism for you, pile too. Okay. So down at the bottom, it says, Madam, your dichotomous thinking about good and evil has proved correct. Now, was I not talking about that? Good and bad? Now, it says your dichotomous thinking about good and evil has proved correct. I don't necessarily understand this statement down here. What I'm getting is that your inner child and spirit is saying that it's not you viewing something as evil or you viewing something as good that is incorrect, but is it keeping you restricted? Is it keeping you where there's like boundaries? You want to be like is boundless a word? You want to be free. You want to be able to move through all of them. Sometimes you need to stand your ground. Sometimes you need to be a little flexible. So I'm getting your inner child wants you just to be a little bit more flexible when it comes to your thinking. Your memories. Maybe you remember something from childhood, and in your memory, in your view of what you knew, it's this way. But then you have like family members or other people saying, no, it really wasn't that way. Yes, this may have happened, but these things happen. Maybe you don't remember somebody sticking up for you and they did. So some type of way from childhood, it affects how you see the world yourself. and people now. And it's a very black and white, all or nothing, cut or dry type of thing. I'm going to give you another example of me real quick, right? This might be my pile. And I thought it was another pile, but this might be my pile. Now listen. I can't stand the text. I can't stand clicking no doggone keys. I can't. Okay? And I don't know what's up with this generation. It ain't even this generation, because it be people, my age. That just blows my mind. That they is grown and they texting. But anyway, right? So I don't text. So when a man, asks for my phone number, I let him know, like, listen, I don't really do the texting. So I do prefer phone calls. If they text me, I might text back one time, be like, okay, like, listen, this is not even just relationships now. This is anybody. I don't really text. I'll pick up the phone and call. If I call you and you don't answer, but then you come and text me back, you probably will never hear from me again. Do you hear me now? I don't do that. I was about to cuss that SHIT, right? But that's an all or nothing type of thing. That's real rigid. That's real stuck in my ways. But I don't have time to be sitting here typing out something I could say in 2 seconds. So enough of the examples. I just wanted to give you some different ways of how you could think of, because it doesn't have to be something talking about inner child. It could be something real simple. You only wear mismatched socks. You know what I'm saying? It could be it could be anything. All right. Your little, I was going to say your little children. Your inner childs are very joyful, though. They're very fun-loving. They like to laugh. They like to be lighthearted, because that's the energy I'm picking up. And that's the energy. And the energy of, if y'all don't like it, it's your problem. You better come up through. This might be my power. Okay. Now we about to see how to. What feelings is that bringing up? What feelings is your inner child bringing up in you when they're triggering the unconscious and the clear energy of this deck, the dichotomous thinking? All right. So again, these are suppressed memories, ideas, wishes, things that could have really hurt us and brought us pain that we don't want to deal with. And this is the all or nothing, thinking in black and white, shame, things like that. So inner child, wild card, y'all. All right. So it says discuss. Was I not talking about the ill and the puke? What I say? You better come through, spirit. Discuss. Heart chakra. Look at it there. Okay, it said, I need y'all to see it. Can y'all see it? Does that not say ew right there? Y'all, this stuff blows me away. Ew, all right? Disgust is one of the core emotions, just like joy, sadness, fear, and anger. It's an emotion that keeps our ancestors safe from eating spoiled food or getting sick, and it often results in rejecting something or feeling straight up repulsed. Think about something that disgusts you. Look at that there. Germs disgust the hell out of me, y'all. Okay, this has got to be my power. All right. Certain insects, yeah. Old takeout. Picture what disgust looks like as a facial expression, and notice how your body naturally recoils. It's this reaction that can keep you away from things that aren't great for you. Take a moment to give disgust a little appreciation. While it's not the most glamorous emotion, it can keep you safe. It's this reaction that can keep you away from things that aren't great for you. So what I'm getting with that is that maybe, I got 2 things. One, your inner child is triggering memories, ideas, feelings, or situations that brought disgust to you, that made you go ew, because that's the first thing that I said when I looked at that card and that color. I said ew, right? So why is it bringing that up? What disgusts you? Just like this card says, what disgusts you when you chose pile 2? Were you like, oh, we about to talk about the inner child, what my inner child want to say? Or were you excited to hear about your inner child? When you think of having to heal, or do some lessons, shadow work, do a responsibility in life, adult, whatever. Is it ill? Or is it, this is just something that I have to do? Are we looking at it in black and white? And it says it's this reaction that can keep you away from things that aren't great for you. So your inner child is triggering things that are disgusting you right now, but this is why you better come on through, Spirit. This is why you got to look at it in another way. Don't look at it in a disgusting way. Don't look at it as something ew, because it was made disgusting so that it could protect you. Look at that there. I want to see what's at the bottom of the deck. It was made disgusting to protect you. Like they said, you're not going to sit there and eat no moldy food. Because you know that, for one, them spores in your body going to wreak havoc. Oh, God, like, Lord have mercy. I can't stand moldy anything. Like, I can't stand nothing going bad. If I think it's going bad, because when you see mold spores, that means it's a whole bunch of them spores already on there before it started growing. Like, oh, no. Like, no. If it's been in my refrigerator for 2 days, it's probably gone, okay? Even if it could last longer. That's that black and white thinking, right? But you could also be like, I'm trying to think of something else that could disgust you. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it was an event and their behavior, whatever, just disgust you. Just like, how could you do such and such? Or how could you pass me over, if it was a job? Or how could you, just whatever situation disgusts you. Again, don't look at it as something that was being done to you. Look at it as your inner child and spirit was protecting you. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. We got anger, protecting you from getting angry. Maybe that. And it says, nope. You gotta say it, spirit. It was like, nope. Okay, it says, think of a time when anger showed up and said, no, this is not okay. Look at that there. You were protected. So there were certain things in your childhood that you buried in your subconscious mind that triggered disgusting emotions in you and anger in you, and they were both triggered in you to stop that pattern of behavior, to stop whatever that was affecting you. However, in turn, it caused you to look at, you better come on through, Spirit, it caused you to look at certain things in a black and white way. All right? And it stemmed from shame, not being able to forgive, feeling like you compromised too much, and that things were short term. Things were short term. And the reason why is because you are a true believer. You are a true believer. Pile 2. Because you kind of see things for what it is. Right? And that's what has you in this all or nothing black and white type of energy. All right, let's keep going. If you had the power in the situation, what did you do or wish you had done? If this situation, okay. All right, it says, if you had power in the situation, what did you do or wish you had done? If this was a situation where you had limited power, what was in your control? Where could you have gone to get support? Anger can point to the injustices we've personally experienced or the ones we've witnessed. If the specific injustice is still unresolved, it is. Is there an action you can take today? By doing so, you're harnessing anger to help create a positive change. So something when you were a child was triggered, it triggered disgust in you, right? And you put that wherever that resonates. And at that time, you may not have had that power. Maybe you didn't have the power to get angry at that time. Maybe it was when you were really young, but it did trigger this black and white. And so now your inner child is bringing that back up to you now in your adulthood, because they're saying you have the power now, pile 2. You have the power now to experience those feelings that you couldn't experience when you were a child. You have the power now to get upset. You have the power now to go cuss them out. You have the power now to burn a letter. You got the power now to go beat a pillow. Whatever it is that you need to do to feel those emotions, to get it out, to really understand why it disgusts you so that you can move on and to see it was for your protection, right? I think this is what your inner child is triggering in you right now. This is going to help break you out of this dichotomous thinking. This dichotomous thinking also is a way of protection for you. So it's almost like you've been in a protective bubble in a sense, pile 2. But now that protection, now that mode of operating, look at that there. You better come on through, Spirit. Look at that there. I'm going to tell y'all that in a minute. That mode of operating is now becoming a detriment to you and a hindrance to you. It's not helping you anymore. It did its job up until now. It was really significant in your childhood, but now it's time to get your power back. And when I looked over here at my in my library of all my books, I saw the courage to heal. This is what your inner child is bringing up. So maybe you're disgusted with just certain things right now in your life, and that's being triggered in you to do something about it. Okay. I also was drawn to single mothers in my book, and I can't read the whole title because the title's small, but what's big is daughters. So for those who have relationships with their mother, if any of this is being triggered with a mother-daughter relationship in you, pile 2, maybe some actions disgusted you or vice versa, there's some soul wisdom that your inner child is trying to tell you. Okay? It's some soul wisdom. I feel like some of you guys may have developed some anxiety disorders or maybe some phobias from whatever this is that has been suppressed. Because something was like, ew. That's the first thing I said out my mouth. What is that? When you think of ew, what is being triggered in you? What is that? What is it that disgusts you? What behaviors? I heard behaviors. What behaviors disgust you? Whether it's your own behaviors, other people's behaviors. You know what I'm saying? What is that? All right. Anger can point to the injustices we've personally experienced or the ones we've witnessed. I'm getting you've witnessed injustices in your childhood, and you've also experienced injustices in your childhood, pile 2. And that is what your inner child is trying to invoke in you right now as far as your feelings. Also, what I get with this wild card is I get that you kind of feel uneasy when you get wild. There is a real dialogue in your head, pile 2, almost like even if you're grown, right? I don't know if there was a lot of like hard authority figures maybe in your life, pile 2, but even in your grown age, you may still hear a voice in your head like, should I do that? Or I can't do certain things around certain people. Even if you grown, live on your own, all of that. That's all that unconsciousness right there. Almost as if, there's a shaming type of energy or aspect. And your inner child wants you to be wild. Be free. Again, being in that gray area will be wild, right? Because if you just stuck on one or the other, you don't get to experience everything. Be wild, pile 2. All right, let's go ahead and see what your inner child is asking you when it comes to the unconscious, the dichotomous thinking, the wild card, which was disgust, all right, and anger. So you have two kind of low vibing energies right there, feelings with the anger and disgust. So definitely want to work on the thinking in the mind so that we can really identify what those are. When you fail, are you like ew to you, to yourself, It's stemming to how you view yourself. All right? All right. Clear the energy of this deck. All right, inner child. For pile 2, what you want to say? What you want to ask? Your older self, inner child, on pile 2. Ace of Cups. Look at that there. Are you prepared to have a new beginning in love? Was I not talking about love? Was I not talking about it? I think I was. Y'all been channeling. Are you prepared to have a new beginning in love. And we can take that a couple ways. Love of self, love of life, all right? Love of a partner, you know? Did you see dynamics when you were younger when it came to relationships? Didn't I say something about love at the very beginning? I thought I did. Of your view of love, do you view love as ew? Now, y'all, this might be my pile because I do kind of view love as like ew. I view emotions like ew. Like, I think it's because I'm an empath, y'all. I feel so much. Like, good gosh, must we today? All right, next out. What are you trying to ask? Pile 2, inner child. 6 of Wands. Are you ready to be recognized for all your efforts and achievements? Look at that there. Y'all better come on through, pile 2. So this is something to see. See, this is some conditioning from the childhood that you don't see how beautiful. Did I not say over there with the book Priceless? You don't see how brilliant and beautiful you are. You have a black and white thinking about yourself, your life, how the world views you. What you can contribute to the world. What you can contribute to anyone. And it makes you angry sometimes. But that's how you were treated as a child, though. Somewhere, whether if it wasn't your parents, somewhere, teacher, friend, life, something. Put you in that black and white energy of protection. Something made you go ill. And you got to figure out what that is. Give me one more, Spirit, and it has to do with love, your heart. And I'm not talking about like emotions. I'm talking about love, like self-love. You know, love, just love of life, love, having joy, happiness, contentment, compassion. Conditional love versus unconditional love. Give me one more, inner child. Give me one more. We have the 2 of Pentacles. What decisions in your life are you ready to make? Bottom of the deck, the devil. Look at that thing. Disgusted anger, What boundaries? Well, I'm not talking about the boundaries. What boundaries need to be created? I think so many people be having typos. No shade. What boundaries need to be created in your life when it comes to a toxic situation? Love. Okay. So what your inner child is triggering in you, pile 2, is how you view love. Loving relationships, love in general. I don't feel like pile 2, you have just the most gooeyest feeling when it comes to love. I do feel like, again, there's a lot of black and white, all or nothing feelings when it's centered around love, regardless of however that love is coming about. I do feel that you feel in love too. Love relationships, again, put that with friends, family, lovers, whatever. It's hard for you to strike that balance where you can truly enjoy whoever you are engaging in and still have your sense of autonomy, your sense of individuality, your sense of still wanting to fulfill the things that you want. You may feel that they may fall to the wayside. It is a balancing act that you feel that you have to do, and you may not want to do that. You also may find it hard to find that balance of work and play. Again, all or nothing. Maybe you're trying to achieve a goal, so you're like, I just got to grind it out until I meet the finish line, and then I can go ahead and, relax and enjoy once I get there, instead of enjoying each step of the way. Sometimes it may be hard for you to make decisions. It is all in your mind. This is what your inner child is letting you know. Whatever you are going through, whatever you are feeling, again, I'm going to turn this wild card over. Whatever that disgust is, that ill, right? Where you didn't feel you had power, where you didn't feel you could truly express your true emotions. And it stems with love. right? This is what your inner child wants you to spend some time with, because it is keeping you almost restricted with this devil card. But it's also, again, with that discuss, you better come on through, spirit. And that protection, it is teaching you to have boundaries. Boundaries with yourself, boundaries with other people, but not boundaries in a way to protect you, to isolate you. You know what I'm saying? Not that. Boundaries to really stand up for yourself, to really know that you are worthy of all the success. And I'm not just talking about like success out in the world, that you're just worthy of good things. Something really rocked your self-esteem a little bit, pile 2. You are seen, pile 2. Your inner child sees you. I don't necessarily know if you see yourself, pile 2. It's an ew feeling with the self somewhere. What is that? And it doesn't have to be your looks. It ain't got to be your weight. It don't have to be none of that. Maybe you're not happy with where you are in life. Maybe you don't like the car that you drive. You know, maybe you don't like the person you with. Hell, like it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be the most traumatic type of situation. Again, I said, you know, that person said they ain't going to that restaurant if they had steak with scalloped potatoes and broccoli instead of steak, a baked potato, and green beans. So I'm telling you, it could be just like that, right? But it brings some type of toxicity around you. It brings some form of bondage. And your inner child wants you to break free. It's blocking success in your life. It's blocking you from reaching achievements. It's blocking you from standing in your own victory, is what I heard. Standing in your own victory, pile 2. You know, some people, don't even feel that they deserve praises, accolades, that they don't deserve, So remember I gave that analogy of you trying to go for that audition and they was really hard on you or whatever, but that person knew that you was going to be like a big star one day, or that you were going to go far in that realm, that one day you were going to be on a grand stage, right? But maybe they felt that you didn't believe in yourself enough with that Ace of Cups. Okay? Maybe they felt there were some restrictions you were putting on yourself mentally that you needed to stop. Do you see? So there's something that, because the devil is all about you having bad habits, or you allowing things to control you, again, where you didn't feel power over here with this anger card, right? But it's self-inflicted. It's not something on the outside. It's something self-inflicted. And the devil is also like the Lovers in reverse, okay? Because the Lovers, they just aren't chained, but this is bound. So it really has to do with relationships. Toxic relationships you may have seen growing up, that you may have been involved in, how maybe love, your view of love could have been tainted as a child. Maybe you feel you're only seen in a certain type of way when it comes to love. And there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance, because with the all or nothing or the black and white, there isn't a balance. So your inner child really wants you to sit and pay attention to how you view love, is what I heard. How you view love and what you deserve with the Six of Wands. And how have you been blocking yourself from beautiful things? When I talk about a beautiful life, beautiful things. And make the decision to change that. So you can sit pretty just like her and know that not only can you have love, you can have a career, right? Not only can you have children, but you can go after your goals, okay? That you can have friends and a lover. Some people don't even want, they partner to have friends. They just want them to be with them the whole doggone time, okay? But whatever that is, you don't have to, that's what it is. You don't have to give up things. Pile 2. You don't have to give up anything. This all or nothing black and white is standing out the most. Okay? I want to clarify this disgust. I'm going to give one more card on you, because I really need to figure out why I was saying that ew, because I need to know my doggone self. I said one card, Spirit. Like, come on, right? Okay, thank you. Death. Oh, snap. Okay, let's see what it says. What situation in your life is transforming and changing to bring about something new? We've been asked, these all three are talking about something new. Are you ready for success? You ready for new love? Are you ready to end something? So death is all about, something needs to end. And wasn't I talking about that this disgusting, this you energy was protecting you when you were a child, but now it's almost coming like a hindrance, something that's binding you right now. So this is what needs to end. All right. It says, what situation in your life is transforming and changing? So is your view changing about things? Do things still disgust you right now? And what are they and why? Is that stemming from some unconscious trigger, or should it disgust you? And now if I walk up by, a bin of stinky trash, yes, that's going to disgust me, right? But if I also am walking past the recycling center, should I really be disgusted because my butt took my butt down, past the recycling center? Of course it's going to stink, right? So I kind of put myself in that situation. Going back to this devil card, right? So there's something that needs to change, something that needs to transform, something that needs to end. And when the death card shows up, it's something that is like inevitable. This is a major arcana. You got two major arcanas out here, and they're kind of heavy major arcanas. And these two things need to end before you can have this beautiful beginning with this Ace of Cups. Spirit is trying to give you something new. It's almost that you need to reprogram your mind and your view on love as a whole. On love as a whole. I just saw somebody roll their eyes in my third eye, right? So when you think of romance movies, novels, do you go, ew? Do you think, oh, that's fairy tale? Oh, that ain't gonna never happen? Or, I probably can't find somebody that's going to love me the way that I want to be loved. You can't, whatever love you didn't get as a child, it was for a lesson, right? It was meant. There was a purpose there, right? But you can't get that back right now. You can love yourself the way that you were never loved, though. You always want to give yourself more than what you give to somebody else, pile two. And I feel like there's some confusion around love when it comes to you. There's some type of confusion when it comes to love. What's at the bottom of the deck with this death? The Magician? Yeah. You have all the tools. You have all of the capability, all of the mind capacity, all of that to change the situation. You don't need to look at things as disgusting anymore out of protection. Stand in your power. If you need to get angry, fine. All right? Stand in your power. How would you have handled that situation? Say, nope, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not tolerating that. I'm not going to let myself continue to, I heard stand back. I heard stand back and watch life pass me by. Look at it there. Stand back and let life pass me by. Again, going back to that all or nothing. So it could be like, you could just be like, every day I just got to get up and work. Take care of my family, and that's it. That's what life is just going to be. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be that. Okay? So let's see what the Magician says. What thoughts and actions are creating your reality? If this is not about your mind, and you have three major arcanas out here. So your mind, the negative thought process, negative patterns, negative habits that have been developed from childhood that keeps you in this black and white, it's time to transform that. Go ahead and end that and create the reality that you want so that you can have this beautiful life full of love and love in every area, so that when success and beautiful things come to you, you can handle that you feel good about yourself when you have that. Think of how many people out there you see are successful and you think that they're happy in their life, but they're really not. So you really want to bring more happiness and joy into your life. Pile 2. So let's go ahead and get some advice from Spirit and your inner child, because I didn't mean to make y'all almost an hour. Good gosh, man, I swear I cannot make no small reading. Hold on, that's not a card. So this is my Iyanla Vanzant deck, y'all. I'm so excited to use this deck. All these decks I'm using for the first time. And let's just see what advice. And I'm going to go ahead and get you out of here, pile 2. Clear energy of this deck, all right? Inner child and spirit, what advice is most beneficial for pile 2 as they deal with the unconscious and dichotomous thinking, that they examine what things make them go ew, and that they find disgusting and realize that that was a form of protection, but now it is hindering them, and that they're going to say nope to things that make them feel uncomfortable, and that they are going to get angry, that they are going to recognize the things that were causing, or the things that they experienced that were injustice to them and others, and they're going to stand in their power. All right? There's been some injustices in love. Some real heavy things, right? And this means abuse. This means a lot of heavy stuff, and I ain't really trying to go there. But y'all take that where it resonates when it comes to this card, okay? All right. It says, whom do you need to forgive? Y'all saw me shuffle. Whom do you need to forgive? Are you willing to forgive someone today? This disgust. There's some abuse. What's some abuse? These 3 right here, standing out, okay? I almost cried earlier. I don't want to go there, y'all. Go to the nearest mirror. Look at that there. Look into it. Did I not say something about you two in the disgust? This is a heavy card, y'all. Go to the nearest mirror. Look into it. Now say, I forgive you totally and conditionally. Do that. And forgive yourself for whatever it is that has you in this energy. And it doesn't have to be against. Autopilot shuffled. I guess you need one more. It doesn't have to be something super heavy. But if you know that it is, let's go ahead and tackle that. Let's not suppress that anymore. When do you feel most peaceful? So we got whom do you need to forgive, and when do you feel most peaceful? Look at the balance. Look at that. Look at that. 2 decisions. Look at that. Are you willing to experience peace today when the mind and heart, mind, heart. Y'all see that? Yeah. When the mind and heart are peaceful, the power of the spirit within comes alive. Absolutely. That's the decision. That's the balance. Your mind and your heart. The way you think and view love, the way you think and view yourself, all of that needs to come in balance. That is what your inner child is triggering. Bottom of the deck. What is your passion in life? You heard that? What is your passion in life? And this is somebody, blowing an instrument. What is that? A trumpet? What can you do to bring more passion into your life today? Was I not talking about watching your life pass by? When you live your passion, you become passionate about living. Your inner child wants you to be passionate about living. Wasn't I jokey all at the beginning? You know what I'm saying? I don't even remember what I was channeling, but that's what your inner child wants. Your inner child, that is their energy, okay? So, pile 2. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it wasn't all over the place. And I just hope it really gave you the insight and clarity that you needed as far as what your inner child is wanting to express to you. And I do feel, pile 2, that, it may be a little heavy for you. All right? Really recognize, again, those feelings of ill. That really standing out more than anything, especially when it comes to love, and try to just get out of this black and white type of energy. It's protected you long enough, okay? So if you enjoy kicking it with your girl, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. If it resonated, if you just want to say, hey girl, hey, drop me a comment, share your story. I would love for you to jump into the comment section. I want this channel to be our support channel, so I will respond to every comment. If you are drawn to another pile, go ahead over there and I will see you there. And if not, pile 2, just thank you so much for kicking it with me. I have enjoyed spending time with you and kicking it with your inner child, or I should say channeling your inner child. And I just can't wait to do the next video for you. And I just hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace, love, and light. Hey, Pile 3, welcome to your reading. If you did not watch the intro, my name is Empress Goddess of Healing, and I am so happy the universe allowed us to cross paths today. Those that are new, welcome to the channel. Those returning and those who have joined my Divine Being Gang Fam Bam, thank you so much for all of the love, the support. I see the numbers continuing to go up, views going up. I am so happy the subscriber count is going up and people are finding me. So just thank you for embracing the readings and just being patient with me as I put out content. So enough chit chat, pile 3. This reading is what your inner child is triggering in you at this time. And you guys have the most cards, pile 3. Now, you guys have trauma, baggage, and dialogue. These two came out together. So this is like the underlining energy. We see that it's all blue. So definitely has to do with your throat chakra. The throat chakra deals with speech, communication, how we express ourselves. It also deals with our life force. It deals with our authenticity. So it deals with a lot of things, and also how we balance ourselves. The yin and yang is also housed in the throat chakra. So what I'm getting off rip is there is some form of trauma that has happened in your life, and your inner child is bringing that to the forefront at this time, pile 3. It is something that either you don't want to talk about, or you have talked about, but when you talked about it, it didn't bring you the resolution or the closure that you needed. And so in turn, it's caused you to have a little bit of baggage surrounding whatever this trauma is. And it could be trauma stemming from childhood, or it could be some trauma that has happened throughout your life, but it's triggering something that you went through when you were a child, okay? Or just the dialogue in your head is being sparked from childhood with this trauma, okay? I get for some of you, the trauma is pretty heavy. For others of you, it's just been traumatic events off and on throughout childhood growing up. And then it's just been hard to kind of let some of those things go. I don't feel like pile 3, you guys have a problem necessarily forgiving. May have a problem forgetting, though. May have a problem with seeing a person with fresh eyes after they hurt you, if that makes sense. You know, it's not that you necessarily hold a grudge per se, maybe a little bit resentment, right? But once somebody kind of taints your view of them, it's hard for you to see them again as if that has never happened, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and get into the cards and let's just see. So first one out we have is trauma. And I just want you to notice, because I just noticed this, although all 3 of these are blue, we have orange, we have green, and we have purple. So not only is the throat chakra really being illuminated, we do have some sacral chakra being illuminated. And because this is the border and small, I do feel like your divine feminine energy, whether masculine or feminine right now, pile 3, needs some attention. You may be a pile that may rest more in their divine masculine energy than their divine feminine energy. Just more action oriented, more logical. I feel like you don't put a lot of weight on your emotions. Not that you're not emotional. I just don't necessarily know if you really rest in your emotions like that. And I think it's stemming from this trauma. With the baggage, it really weighs your heart down with this baggage. And with the dialogue, it really affects the way you think. I'm hearing about yourself, the way you think about yourself. The way you think about yourself. This dialogue is heavy. These two are heavy. And in turn, it's causing this baggage. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into trauma. It says, an intense, formative, unpleasant life event so powerful that an individual cannot adequately respond to or process it, marked by upheaval and lasting impact on psychological organizations. Look at that there. Characterized by emotional damage. Don't say the emotional body. Look at it there. Oh, for those who don't know, I just got this deck. I ain't read the back. Okay. Difficulty with similar events. That's that dialogue. I think I was chilling something like that. Reliving and there it is. Reliving and revisiting. That's the dialogue. Repression, denial, pain, flashback, scars, bad dreams, guilty parents. And it says, the fine line between a close shave and a bloody trauma. So that's kind of weird, that line. But what I'm getting from a fine line between a close shave and bloody trauma is that I think that with the trauma, there is a fine line. You know how they hear like it's a fine line between love and hate. And as I was saying, like once somebody like kind of does you wrong, it's hard for you to kind of see them again in a light before they did that right. I feel like there is a fine line with this trauma. I feel like your traumas can be sparked within you quite easily, if that makes sense. And you may be a person who shoves that down because we have that baggage. It's not that your trauma is not being illuminated. It's that when it's illuminated, you really dismiss it really, really quickly. You may have a dialogue in your head that, that was in the past. Why am I still thinking about that? I'm over that, or I'm just not going to deal with that today, or whatever that dialogue is. But you still replay that trauma in your mind at times. And I also feel there's certain situations in your life that when that trauma is brought up, it's like you're put in a situation for this trauma to be brought up. You better come up through spirit for you to drop the baggage, but you don't, because you don't want to deal with it. It said, emotional damage. There's definitely some emotional damage. Difficulty with similar events. What I just say. See, that's that difficult with the similar events. Denial. Definitely some denial. Repression. Pain. So what's standing out to me is reliving and revisiting. That's that dialogue. Repression, denial, pain. That is the baggage, right? Flashbacks, scars, bad dreams. That's the trauma being illuminated. Okay? All right. Next out, we have baggage. And it says the sum total of experiences. What I say, y'all? Oh, neurosis, inner child. Are we not talking about the inner child? Look at that there. Issues and traumas a person carries through life. Absolutely. Carry-ons that don't fit in the overhead compartment. Traumatic life histories, depression, erratic or extreme emotional behavior, self-absorption, inability to forgive or regulate to the past. That's what it is. Regulate to the past. Seeing the situation for what it is, acknowledging the pain, acknowledging the hurt, trying to find that lesson in that, and then purging that energy and letting it go. It's a forgive and forget type of energy in pile 3. But it's almost like you forgive, but there's still a little bit of resentment. And I just was drawn to my library over here. Y'all got books all over my house, right? And I just was drawn to a book, and the words of the title is forgiven. It's in huge font. And the book is a dark, dark blue, giving me indigo. So that would then, again, still throat chakra, but more of a third eye, right? So I'm getting that your inner child is sparking in you, in your instincts, trying to trigger your intuition to go ahead and let go of some of this baggage, and you may be resistant to that. The words forgive are gray. So maybe, you feel a little like murky, you feel a little heavy, you feel a little gloomy when these things come up in, your mind or experience or triggering. So you may have a lot of deja vu, pile 3, reliving the same dreams, things like that. But it's because it's like in your subconscious mind, it's like a recurring tape, almost like a recurring tape is what I saw. And I don't even know how old everybody is on the channel, but when they used to have tapes, I believe when the tape ended on one side, I don't remember if you had to take the tape out and flip it over, or did they find a way where it could automatically switch to like the B side? But in my third eye, I saw automatically flipping to the B side. And what I heard is, or what I saw was, I don't know if y'all remember those big tape recorders, and you would put it in and you get like hear it shut down. It had the big old fat buttons and stuff like that. That's what I heard. And what I see is if it doesn't automatically do it, I see somebody putting the tape in, pressing play, taking it out, turn it over, putting it in, pressing play, taking it out, putting it in, turning it over. And it's just a constant motion of that, like non-stop. So if it's not occurring in your present conscious mind where you're aware of it, then it is replaying constantly in your subconscious mind. And again, that may be playing out in your dream space. You may be finding yourself in situations where that event is just replaying itself over and over again. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the same event. It could just be you find yourself in that same situation. So yeah, so what I just saw in my third eye was a raggedy shopping cart, right? And so say you go to the store, no matter if it's the grocery store or just another store that has a cart, right? But every time you grab a cart, no matter if it's 50,000 carts out there, you always seem to get the one with the raggedy right wheel. Like the right wheel is just always rickety and raggedy no matter what. You go take it back. You look at 3 carts down. Okay, I'm going to grab the one and the fourth one. This got to be right. You pull it out. It still got this rickety, raggedy right wheel, right? And you can't understand why you keep grabbing the shopping carts with the raggedy right wheel. What can I say? That's a lot. A mouthful. Raggedy right wheel, right? But somehow your subconscious mind, the universe is trying to get you to understand that you keep grabbing this cart because your energy is kind of attached to it. It's kind of drawn to it. So no matter how many carts you grab, it's still going to have this rickety right wheel until you deal with it. And that's what I'm getting with the baggage. It's like there's certain events or situations that are going to keep coming up in your life, pile 3, until you actually deal with this baggage. Because for you, pile 3, I feel like there was some heavy trauma with you. I really feel like is when you were really, really small. If you have siblings may have also dealt with this trauma as well. And it really has shaped how you interact with people. It also affects like your light and your shadow side. Do you see how one of them has like white hair and one of them has dark hair? Do you see how one of them kind of looks curious and is, okay, but then the other one looks worried? I get that it kind of keeps you in a constant state of influx, if that makes sense. Not that you're not balanced, not that you're not, centered. I don't want you to think that, but when it comes to this trauma, it instantly gets you off balance, okay? So it says traumatic life histories, depression, erotic or extreme emotional behavior, self-absorption, inability to forgive or regulate the past, inappropriate self-disclosure, delusions of traveling light, denial of suitcases and streamer trunks, disparagement of those who own up to their baggage. Look at that there. Disparagement of those who own up to their baggage. So some of you may, say you ever been in a support group, right? And this is what I want this channel to be, our support group. Have you ever been in a support group, or maybe you watched something on TV or whatever, or just seen something and somebody was, telling their life story or giving their testimony or whatever have you. And maybe you related to and was like, oh, that was brave. And then maybe somebody else was like, oh, well, everybody done been through stuff, and kind of dismisses, what they have to say. Or maybe you dismissed it and somebody else was very supportive. That's what I'm getting with the disparaging of those who own up to their baggage. And if, anybody has ever projected that onto you when you have tried to open up or you've tried to share your traumas and things like that, and they made you feel like what you went through didn't matter or wasn't that bad or that traumatic, made you almost kind of shut down and not open yourself up. Your inner child is bringing that to the forefront. If anybody ever threw up in your face some trauma that you expressed to them and it made you want to not really speak, or made you then in turn think, okay, well, maybe it's not that bad. No, this trauma is heavy, and I don't care what it is. It's heavy for you, pile 3, and your inner child really wants you to acknowledge that, because it's weighing your inner child down, is what I saw in my third eye. Please do not make me cry. Pile 3. Oh man, Pile 3. I see your inner child in like water, right? There they go, y'all. Oh man. And it's like almost like a tank. And the water is like slowly rising. Oh my God. And it's probably like chest level right now, pile 3. But it's slowly rising, and in a minute it's going to go over your inner child's head. And it's not that your inner child is going to drown per se, but it's going to get to the point where the emotions are too overwhelming for your inner child, and there's going to be some form of break, right? And it's almost like your inner child is trying to draw that to your attention right now. Like, it's getting too much for me to carry on the inside, and I need you to help me purge some of this on the outside. So I think your inner child and spirit really wants you to sit down and really deal with these emotions, whatever that trauma is. And that's why I said for some of y'all it's heavy, because it brought tears to my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Your inner child it has a very heavy energy around pile 3. Even the way I'm talking low, really kind of calm, kind of low energy. And if you looked at the other piles, my energy wasn't like that in the other piles. And your inner child just needs some real tender love and care. Like, your inner child, you are the type of person, pile 3, that really needs people around them that really see them, like see you, right? Who you can feel comfortable opening up to, who you can be able to open up at your own pace. You are the type of person who gotta be peeled back. You gotta be peeled back. You have to feel safe. You have to trust. You have to trust. Your trauma is dealing with trust. And be very careful who you surrounding yourself around, especially when you're dealing with this. You need loving energies around you. And maybe you need a support group, pile 3. Maybe you have opened up and you've had people, again, what does that say? Disparaging of those who open up to their baggage. Do not let anybody diminish anything that you have gone through. And it doesn't even have to be the worst of the worst, but it was traumatic to you, though. All right? Resistance to therapeutic assistance. If you know that you need help, if you know that you need therapy, if you know you need to talk to somebody, write it out, whatever, don't resist that. I think you don't want to deal with whatever pain that is. And so you kind of dismiss yourself. And if this is resonating, pile 3, you want to really deal with this right now, okay? Because the baggage is becoming too heavy. Unsubstantial claims of psychological health, possession of the most baggage of all, and not a match set at that. So I think that's some like little joke. Possession of the most baggage, meaning again, it's really getting big. So maybe at the start you only had a backpack, right? And then it came to like one of them little rolly things that you pull, little, still can fit in the overhead compartment of the airplane, right? And then it came to that and maybe a duffel bag. Now you got that, the duffel bag, and the big old suitcase, okay? So it just keeps adding. And you want to release some of that and let that go, okay? I also, when I looked at this, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to find a friend, because this friend kind of looks worried. And this one just looks like just overwhelmed or confused as well. And it says you bring way too much baggage to this friendship. Look at that there. I didn't even see that. You bring way too much baggage to this friendship. I feel like some people may have made you feel like this, pile 3, that, maybe you just have too much, Have you ever had somebody say that to you? Or maybe you just interacted with people and they just like, you just got too much going on. You don't have too much. Well, I can't say you don't have too much going on, but there should be somebody there to help you. And don't ever feel like you can't open up because you feel that you would just bring too much drama to somebody, or you would just, You don't want them to look at you in a certain light or look at you less than or that you're not strong or whatever like that. That's not the case. I feel like Spirit is trying to bring certain people into your life that you can feel comfortable to open up to. And maybe that hadn't happened in the past, or maybe that's why you carried some of this baggage. But I do feel that the Spirit is trying to open up a door for you to help you, release this trauma. Really release this trauma because it really weighs heavy on your heart. So let's see what dialogue says. Again, we got crown chakra. And it says to communicate honestly and genuine between oneself and others or between different aspects of oneself, actively expressing and listening in appropriate manners, characterized by over dialoguing, talking about relationships rather than having them. The phrase, but how do you really feel? Or underlining self-protectiveness, lack of awareness, repression. Repression has been mentioned twice. I think it's enretia. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Dishonesty, tendency to have headaches or inappropriate moments. So it says dialogue was characterized by two things. Over dialoguing, talking about relationships rather than having them. So you could have this dialogue where you just talk about different things, almost a dissociated, energy. You talk about the things, but you won't experience them because of either the trauma or the fear or whatever. There's some hesitation with experiencing something, but you can talk about it. Or it's the under dialoguing, self-protectiveness, lack of awareness, repression, inertia. I don't know what that word is, y'all. Did I see it? That word right there. Somebody, I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay. Yeah. Dishonesty, tendency to have headaches or inappropriate moments. I do feel that the under dialoguing is in the self-protectiveness, not necessarily the lack. It could be a little bit of a lack of awareness where the lack of awareness is that you don't see how it's affecting you. You are aware of this trauma and this baggage, but you may not see the full effect of how it is truly affecting you at this time. With the dishonesty, it may cause you to be dishonest at times to other people, but also with how it's truly affecting you within yourself. And with the tendency to have headaches, you may be a person who suffers from migraines and all that, but I'm getting more stress. Stress in the mind is what's cultivated by this. Now, look at this here, okay? Because I didn't see the bottom. It says we need to dialogue about this letter from your mistress. Now, look at that there, okay? Now, let me just take it on the base level real quick, okay? Some of this trauma could deal with cheating. Because it said we need to talk about, all right, dialogue about this letter from your mistress. You damn right we do, okay? Some of that could be that. Some of that you could have seen that. Maybe you grew up in a home where one of the parents was dipping out. There could be some trauma in regards to relationships, romantic relationships. But just, something being done behind your back as well. Because, of course, she didn't know, that her husband was dipping out. So something, related to something behind your back. But just really pay attention to whatever you are communicating to yourself and with others. And is it honest and genuine, or are you kind of holding back out of fear your feelings will not be validated? Is what I heard. Fear your feelings will not be validated. So now that we know what your inner child is triggering in you right now, which is trauma, baggage, and dialogue, let's see what feelings are being invoked. And I kind of got an idea, given I was up here boo-hooing. I promise y'all, I don't be trying to cry. You know what I'm saying? I expect it kind of on my spiritual channel, but I used to boo-hoo a lot on my love channel. Now that I didn't understand. Listen. Okay, that's a lot, but I seen that. I'm not going to tell you what I seen in my third. Okay, listen. Do y'all see that? Y'all got a lot. Your inner child really wants to... Your emotions is all over the place. That's what it is. I think you have bouts of all kind of emotions, pile 3. Let me be quiet. Okay, hold on one second, y'all. Let me try to shuffle one more time. All right, I have an idea what's about to come out, but let's see. Clear the energy of this deck. All right, inner child, what feelings are you invoking in pile 3 with trauma, baggage, and dialogue? And we have joy. That's not what I saw coming out. I actually saw sadness coming out in my third eye, but we're going to see what joy says, okay? And it says family matters. Look at that there. Was that not talking about we need a dialogue about this letter from your mistress? Okay, so definitely has to deal with family dynamics, things we have seen in family. And it says, think about your family for a moment. What was your family's relationship with joy? Did your parents express joy a lot or avoid it? Does your family relationships to joy resonate with how you want to experience it in your life? Consider your own legacy of joy. What traditions might you start that celebrate joy? What's one thing you can do today to begin to cultivate your joyful legacy? And it says, what's one thing you can do today to begin to, oh, that just repeated. What's one thing you can do today to begin to cultivate your joyful experience? So I'm getting this trauma is robbing you of joy. This baggage is robbing you of joy. And so the dialogue needs to be switched right now. Or we want to transition into looking at things in a more joyful experience. But first, we have to go back to our family dynamic. We have to go back to our childhood. Was there a lot of joy in the home? Was there strife in the home? Was it just we're just going to deal with the mundane, the day to day, and we're not really going to try to live in the moment? Things of that nature. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. And we have fear. And it says it's about time. I swear I keep seeing sadness in my third eye. And that was anger. What's under anger? Sadness. I'm telling you, I'm going to read a sadness card. I'm going to read both of these because I cut to them. But I keep seeing sadness in my third eye. So I feel like I gotta read a card on sadness. Okay? So we'll see what those say. So it's about time. Notice how you feel at night. Look at it there. Have you ever felt a spike of fear or anxiety once the sun sets? Look at that there. This makes a lot of sense when you think about evolution. Our ancestors had to keep themselves safe at night by being on high alert. If fear creeps in tonight as you're settling down, try acknowledging its role in history. Maybe try saying, "Hey, fear, I knew you show up," because you often do right about now. Naming the emotional experience can help regulate our physical responses. It can also give us the mental space to determine if the data that fear is offering is something that needs to be addressed right now or if it can wait until the morning. Look at that there. So what your inner child and spirit is saying that at night sometimes this trauma and the dialogue that you have in your head going close to you, settling down to falling asleep, right? Is tied to this baggage, right? And sometimes it's being brought to you so that you can kind of tackle that in that stillness, in that time right there where, the hustle and bustle of the day has kind of died down. Maybe, you have kids or the family and all of that's taken care of and you have a little time to yourself. Maybe this is when this stuff is being brought up. And depending on how you feel, really check into your emotions. Some of that, they really want you to tackle right then and there. And not put it off until the morning because you may get busy and then may not tackle it. Also, sometimes if you dismiss it, it may come out in your dreams. So I do feel like a lot of healing work is happening to you towards the evening and when you are asleep. And it says, naming that emotional experience can help regulate our physical responses. And I feel that Spirit really wants you to do that. Do you see how these eyes are like peeking through the blinds? It's almost like you peek at your trauma, but you don't really want to just lift the blinds up and truly see what that trauma is. Really, really just sit in that. And it's time to do that because each one of these blinds is representing the baggage that keeps being piled up. All right. So let's see what these two are. We have anger. And it says, rage for change. Look at that there. What is a social justice issue that sparks anger inside of you? Think of one thing that you can do to help this issue. Maybe you can donate to a cause, educate yourself on a topic, engage in a conversation, or join a group. Was I not talking about a support group from the gate? I do feel like, again, this is a good time, pile 3, to be around people who are very supportive of you, unbiased. You know, don't have any emotional attachment to what you are saying. So it may have to be someone outside of your friend circle, family circle, work circle, somebody who can just truly give you, or just not even give you advice, just let you purge and speak. Throat chakra. Anger can point us in the direction of our values, particularly around social justices. Sometimes we can feel helpless when we look at the injustices happening in the world around us. But anger can be the fuel to identify what is in our control and catapult us into action. And again, it just says anger can point us in the direction of our values, particularly around social justice. What I got off this card is that if you are not aware of what, certain traumas are being, triggered. Maybe you know some, but maybe you don't know all, right? Or maybe you've suppressed it so much that your inner child is trying to bring that to the forefront, but you're really not grasping it. Take a look at what social injustices really burn you up, pile 3. Have you ever just sat there and thought, well, why am I so gung-ho about this cause? What if the cause that you're so gung-ho on, it's never happened to you, right? But you just are so gung-ho about this. Take that and sit with that and see, because you may have had a past life where you had that injustice, and that's carrying over in this lifetime. You could have had family members who, had something bad happen to them, and so you are an advocate for that. Some type of way, whatever social injustices or social groups or, things that you really fight hard for, it kind of stems, or it not stems, it's connected to this trauma and this baggage. All right? And I'm going to give an example, because this is what I just heard. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Wasn't that a group, or isn't that a group? Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So maybe someone had a family member, someone close to them, get in an accident or got hit by a drunk driver, and so you are a person who is very gung-ho about that cause. Maybe you don't even drink. Maybe you are a person who is a designated driver. Maybe you're a Lyft driver, and you make sure that you go to all the bars to pick up other people because you want to make sure that nobody experiences something like that. Or maybe you haven't even experienced that in this life, but for some reason you felt drawn to that. That's what I mean. Kind of sit and try to figure out if you feel some type of pull to certain causes, all right? Because I think that is tied to the trauma. Now, sadness. I'm curious to see what this says on the back, because this is the card I saw my third eye from the gate. And we have It's Okay. Look at it there. Identify your protectors. Absolutely. Protectors are emotions that take you on the job of protecting you from sadness. Did I not say peeking through the blinds? Not really wanting to feel and deal with this trauma? You better come on through, spirit. What are yours? Anger, perfectionism. Sometimes joy even tries to protect us from feeling sad. Look at that there. While these emotions are just trying to protect you from pain, what are they getting in the way of? Dropping that baggage. How have they impacted your mental health and relationships? Mental health and relationships have been mentioned a couple times. We had the psychological health, okay? So really check into your mental health. Are you suffering from anxiety? Do you battle with depression? Do you battle with low self-esteem? Are you easily triggered? Something with the mental health, with that mind. Let's really focus on that. See if you can be mindful of any sadness protectors that show up today. Thank them for doing their best to keep you happy and safe, and then let them know that it's okay to feel sad. While these emotions are trying to protect you from pain, what are they getting in the way of? So I do feel that you at all costs do not want to feel sad. All right? You don't want to feel sad. You'll feel anger, you'll feel fear, you'll feel joy, you feel the others, but this sadness right here, you do not want to feel. And I feel that's why I saw that inner child with that water rising in that tank. And each time you stuff something and add baggage, it's almost like a bucket of water is being poured in there, and that level keeps rising. All right? So let's get into the Ask Yourself Tarot. And let's see what your inner child is asking you when it comes to this trauma, baggage, and dialogue and these feelings that are being invoked. Okay, let's keep that because that's spin out with joy, fear, anger, and sadness. Let me shuffle one more time. Clear the energy of this deck. Okay, first card that wanted to kind of come out was the Knight of Cups. And it says, are you prepared to receive or give a love offer? What I'm getting with that Knight of Cups, first of all, this knight is very cloaked or is very dark. You know, they're cloaked in like black. So I do feel that you are really a big protector of your heart. Pile 3. And I don't feel that you really give your love freely, right? But I don't also feel that you easily accept love either. And that's part of the trauma. I think in general, you may just kind of side eye offers in life in general. You may not just, there's some kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? You feel like there's still some like underlining like fine print. That's what I heard. Fine print. Okay, so you see a deal, right? But you may always be like, well, what's the fine print? What's the catch, right? That's the energy that I was getting with this card. And what I'm getting with, are you prepared to give or receive a love offer? I think the love offer that spirit in your inner child is trying to give to you right now, pile 3, is a love offer of support. And when it says, are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive that love of healing? Are you ready to receive that support and not feel that you have to be protected and guarded? Now, knights, they are about action. Are you ready to take action on that? Pile 3, are you really ready to get into your heart space with that green? And you see all this like white, it's like scattered energy. We got to get your energy to not be scattered, pile 3. Horses are strong. They're majestic. They're beautiful, right? Your inner child and spirit wants you to see how strong that you are. That you're something special, pile 3. There is a very like majestic energy about you, pile 3, right? And I don't feel like you are a person who blends in. I don't feel like you are a person who just gets lost in the shuffle. And maybe you want to blend in. But this is not the time to blend in. This is a time to really get into your emotions. Really get into your emotions. And you know, the knights, they normally focus on what's in that cup at that particular moment. All of their focus is on that. They're lovers. You know what I'm saying? And I got 2 things with that. One, Spirit wants you to tackle one emotion or one trauma at a time. Remember, there's baggage. So there's a couple different things with you, pile 3, right? Also, this could stem from something that may have happened in your adolescent years, teenage years, because we have that knight. Could have been a first love if we go back to that, talking about the mistress. Something with receiving. It's something with receiving with you. Again, going back to that trust. And I do feel like it happened. It's something that triggered in your adolescent years. All right? So kind of think back to that. Let's see what else we got. Give me another one, Spirit. or inner child, we have the Page of Pentacles. It says, what skills are you being called to develop? Right now with the Page of Pentacles, that's going back into a child energy. The Page of Pentacles is very eager to learn new things. The Page of Pentacles just wants to absorb everything, right? So in this particular time, your inner child really wants whatever is being triggered, whatever is being brought up, to learn about it, to not try to rush it, to not take your time. Do you see how he's examining that pentacle? He's holding it up. He's looking at, the ridges maybe on the edge. How heavy is it? Is it the same on both sides? Is it shiny? Is it dull? He's looking at everything of that pentacle. That's how your inner child and spirit wants you to examine your trauma and the baggage. Also, if you have children, do you see some of those things playing out in your children? Because if that is the case, that could be the dialogue that's being passed. Wasn't Joy talking about family matters? So I also feel with you, Pile 3, there may be like some generational things going on with you. Maybe some energies are carrying over into different generations. And Spirit may want you to, try to tackle that in a way. I'm getting the skills that your inner child and spirit wants you to really work on right now is really dealing with your emotions, really dealing with this sadness, actually, the sadness. Because even the fear kind of protects you. It's this sadness that you don't want to deal with. What's this? Ace of Wands. We have, what passionate new beginning is coming into your life? I get with the Ace of Wands. Not only is this a spiritual lesson for you, Pile 3, but I'm getting that you could have a brand new exciting life. You could really, really have this joy, right? And let go of these lower energies if you tackle this over here. Spirit really wants you to be inspired. You know what I'm saying? Really be inspired to believe that you're strong. Believe that you're strong. That you are deserving of love. That you are deserving of love. And it's more so in the form of support. It's like people don't support you like that, Pile 3. In whatever way that resonates for you. Also, that, this was a wand. Wands are used to create things. So I'm getting, create more joyful experiences in your life, Pile 3. Create more things in your life that really get you passionate, really get you hyped, really get you excited, really get you where maybe you're not looking at things in a gloomy way. Wasn't I talking about that with forgive and the look at it there. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. The gray writing with forgive, it says 5 of Wands. What needs to be addressed in this conflict that has arisen? And that is what it is. The 5 of Wands energy is definitely the energy that is surrounding you right now, Pile 3. And what needs to be addressed is this baggage and this trauma. 5 of Wands deals with shame, deals with envy, jealousy. It deals with all of that. But with the 5 of Wands, it's like play fighting in a way. So it's not like the 5 of Swords where it can actually really cut you, hurt you, really damage you. And again, going back to what I said earlier, not to diminish your trauma. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe people are like, oh, well, it really wasn't that bad, and it was. What I'm saying with the 5 of Wands is, yes, although that this is heavy, it's not going to break you. They're wands. It may bruise you. You better come on through, Spirit. It may bruise you, but it's not going to break you. It's not going to break you, but it's going to cause great change. Don't make me cry again, Spirit. It's going to cause great change with that 5 of Wands. And that 5 goes to the Hermit. So this is a repeated pattern. This is something that has been going on for a while. And because we have this Page of Pentacles, because the Hermit is also about learning, right? But once they get to that level of teaching someone else or sharing their wisdom. They're still continuing to learn. It's like an ongoing process. I also feel like some of this trauma, pile 3, has been put into your life. So not only can you help yourself, here they come, y'all, but you are going to help somebody else. That maybe that's what this Ace of Wands is. Maybe that's why they had that card about the cause. Was it anger? The social cause? Yeah, anger can point us in the direction of our values, particularly around social justice. If you are crying, as I am, or you have fought back tears, or you know what this is, really deal with that pile 3, because I'm telling you, that sadness is really, really heavy. Spirit, can you clarify this Ace of Wands for me? That's the only card I feel I need to be clarified. We have the Moon. Look at that there. Moon deals with the shadow. What situation in your life do you feel is secretly being hidden from you? Look at that there. I'm going to read it again. What situation in your life do you feel is being secretly hidden from you? How synchronistic with the we need to dialogue about this letter from your mistress. Now, how didn't I say something going on behind your back? So with the Moon card, right? I do feel like it's some, unconscious or subconscious things that are being triggered as well. But the Moon deals with illusions. And don't delude yourself that this is something you want to tackle, one, pile 3. But also, if you feel like something's being hidden, if you know what this trauma is, but you done brought it up and family's like, no, that ain't never happened, or people are just discounting your feelings, then what I'm getting is this is why we were talking about at night. I think the fear at night, right? We were talking about that. Really sit still. Pay attention to your dream space. Pay attention to how you're feeling, at night, because some things are being drawn up. And maybe you're holding on to secrets that you need to let go of. And that's that baggage as well. Because this is a major arcana with that Moon. In order to bring that positive shift into your life, in order to really get that illumination of what these traumas are, or how to really drop that baggage, I'm feeling you're going to have to do some shadow work, pile 3. You're really going to have to figure out what that is that kind of keeps you divided. Do you see how we have the Moon and then we have those two things right there that kind of keeps you divided? And do you see how there's a very narrow path? It's kind of windy, but it's narrow. So this is something that sometimes you may have to walk alone on, pile 3. And that there's a straight path for you to go, but you got to be guided. And there's going to be a lot of life lessons on that path. And it may get you in a combative energy at times. But it's leading you to love, to accept. Just to accept help, offers, support. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get some advice from Spirit and your inner child. I'm going to go ahead and get you out of here. All right, pile 3? Pile 3, I'm sending you an energetic hug because I feel that's what you need. Seriously. And I almost started to cry again just thinking of that. Maybe you guys didn't get a lot of hugs when you were a child. Clear the energy of this deck. All right, inner child and spirit, what advice is most beneficial for pile 3? And we have, where in your life have you been less than authentic? Was I not talking about the throat chakra deals with authenticity? Where in your life have you been less authentic? Are you willing to stand in your power of authenticity today? If people don't know who you really are, they draw conclusions based on who you are not. Did you hear that? If people don't know who you really are, they draw conclusions based on who you are not. I do feel this trauma and this dialogue that's created this baggage has again caused you to not really show the real you. And again, I feel like some of you have and got shut down, and so you're very selective of who you open up to. This is why this knight is in black. Almost like you like to move in silence in a way. Throat chakra, look at it there. Secrets with the moon. All right, I was told to get one more for you. All right, spirit and inner child. We have, whom have you been avoiding lately? Look at that there. Whom have you been avoiding lately? Are you willing to face that person today? So some of this trauma has to deal with a specific person, pile 3. Resisting difficult people or situations doesn't make them go away. Look at that there. Was I not talking about repression? It makes them more difficult to avoid as time goes on. The baggage, the dialogue. This keeps you ungrounded. Okay? Do you see how we have a rhinoceros right here? Now, don't rhinoceros go in charge and then butt things with the head. So again, going back to this 5 of Wands, you're afraid you're going to butt head with certain people. Maybe you are so angry that you want to just go and ram somebody and you don't know how to communicate. Okay? But rhinoceros have very tough skin. So I do feel like some of this trauma has caused you to really have a tough outer exterior. And because we have this curtain right here, you do hold certain things behind the curtain that you don't show people. You communicate very little about your foundation. Pile 3. You may stay up in your head a lot too. Again, it says resisting difficult people or situations doesn't make them go away. It makes them more difficult to avoid as time goes on. Bottom of the deck. You got 2. Y'all got the most cards out of anybody. Who needs to hear I apologize from you? Are you willing to apologize to someone today? An apology is not an admission of guilt or wrongdoing. It's an acknowledgement that you're willing to do better next time. What I get with the apology, if you know you need to apologize to somebody, then go ahead and do that. But what I really got with the apology is that I do feel that there are certain people, or even if it's your children, that are in your life that truly give you unconditional love. But because of this trauma, baggage, and dialogue, you may sometimes take things out on other people undeservingly. And if that is the case, this is where I think that apology is coming in. Or maybe you didn't really do anything. Say you're just upset, you're dealing with something, you got small kids, maybe you snap at them or something. You weren't trying to be malicious, you weren't trying to hurt them, but it kind of hurt their feelings. And on the sense of that, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe your friend called you and was like, I ain't got time to be talking, and you hang up the phone. And they're like, well, what the heck that happened, you know? And it had nothing to do with them. Something of that nature. We have, what have you made, whom have you made smile lately? And when you look at this girl, I'm getting, have you made yourself smile lately? Pile 3. This is what your inner child wants you to be like, just like that. Wild hair, crazy, you know what I'm saying? Just in the moment. And I want you to see how we have a lot of blue out here and red out here. So definitely base chakras being affected and that throat. Are you willing to make someone smile today? It only takes a minute to lift someone's spirit, and it only takes a smile to make someone's spirit soar. Yes, make yourself smile, but also make others smile too. That's a great transference of energy. Pile 3. And I do feel like you want to join a support group. Get into something that can help you. And it doesn't have to be like, it could be a support group for people who like to knit. You feel me? It doesn't have to be like super duper heavy. But I do feel like you got to get around some people who share similar backgrounds, similar interests and things like that. That's going to help you. It's going to help you get into the energy to receive. Spirit wants you, and your inner child wants you to be in the energy to receive. And if sadness is what you got to receive that so you can enjoy the joy. Okay? All right, pile 3, that is your reading. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it has given you clarity and insight into what your inner child is communicating to you right now, what they are triggering in you, what feelings are being arisen in you right now, and the questions that they have for you. If you enjoyed kicking it with your girl, go ahead and give me that thumbs up. If it resonated, or you just want to share your story or say, hey girl, hey, please go ahead and drop down in the comments. This is our support group. I will respond to everyone. If you are drawn to another pile, although this is pile 3, go ahead over there and I will see you there in pile 3. Thank you so much for being here with me. I have enjoyed channeling your inner child and channeling spirit and just really, helping you know what your inner child wants to tell you. And just know, I'm sending you love, pile 3. And don't make me cry again. You are like, come on. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you an air hug. I'm sending you, oh, shit. I don't even know how to articulate what I feel, y'all. That keeps bringing me to tears. I don't know how to articulate that, but I just saw my third. I mean, putting a band-aid over that, y'all. So, like, whatever that hurt is, whatever that is, pile 3, like, I'm just wishing you healing vibes on that, okay? And I can't wait to do the next video for y'all, all right? Peace, love, and light.